Hi, everyone. This is Key. In this webinar, video, learning session, mindset session, I'm going to be talking about the statistics of real estate. But instead of talking about them in general, I wanted to pick something actual. I wanted to pick a market. And I was in that market recently, Jacksonville, Florida. And I wanted to show you, after extracting the statistics, what do they mean, how to make sense of them, and how you, the real estate agent and broker, can leverage that understanding so that you can study your local market. See, in real estate, we keep thinking that the market is haphazard. It actually is not. It actually has a rhythm to it. There's a way it moves, and we need to learn how it moves. And when you hear the noise of the news and what other agents are saying, you may not be able to make sense of it. So let's learn what the statistics are, how to think about them, what do they mean, but more importantly, how can you leverage them for your own business? At the end of the day, if you're a full-time real estate agent and you're not getting the numbers you want, it is not the market that is in the way. It's probably something akin to your behavior, the way you're approaching the market, how you think about the market. That's what you need to be keeping in mind. So let's get into it. Most of you know who I am. My name is Key. I'm a mindset trainer. I do have a background in mathematics. I have two masters. So I have a deep understanding how to look at numbers and make sense of them. But not only that, how do you use them to leverage and grow your business? I've been doing this for 20 years. Some of you already know me, so I'm going to skip this slide. What I wanted you to do as well is get value out of being with me in the next few minutes. When I say a few minutes, we're talking about 35, 40 minutes. And what I'd like you to do is grab the handout. If you're looking at this video, either below it, above it, or on the side of it, there is a PDF. And there's a PDF that I'd like you to print before you continue watching this video, because you'll be able to fill in some gaps. And as you fill in the gaps, you'll be thinking about your business and how to approach your business. The PDF looks something like this. This is the PDF. It's standard PDF. It has 8 pages long, but anything that you see on the screen right here, anything you see on the screen that is red and bold, that means there is a gap like this that needs to be filled in. So this is an active handout. So go ahead and pause the video, go to that PDF, print it. It's 8 pages long, and follow along. You'll get more value that way. Do you need it? No, but could it help you as you're building and designing your business? I think it would. Like I said, my session will be about an hour, so let's get to it very quickly. So, what should we know about the market? So the first thing is, I believe that every real estate agent who is full-time and she or he dedicates himself to this business is capable of earning a bronze award every single year. What is a bronze award? Very straightforward. It's 25 transactions. If they really wanted it and they really went after it, they will be able to get it. There's one challenge though. The challenge is, if you pursue 25 transactions with only buyers, by the middle of the year you burn out. Most agents who burn out are exclusively working with buyers. What I'd like you to do as a strategist, as an agent who wants to succeed in this market, I want you to mix a mixture of listings and a mixture of buyers. Yes, continue working with buyers. Yes, it's important for you to work with them, but don't make that your exclusive way of running your business. You want to become a prospector. What is a prospector? Is somebody who she or he goes out into the world and finds sellers so that they can list their home. That's the mindset. But if you really commit yourself to a full-time career in real estate, that means when you wake up and when you go to bed, That's all you do. Then, if you mix in the right number of listings, and I'll show you the number, there are some numbers that you should pursue. If you mix in some numbers of listings into your career, you will always do well. You will never have to worry about a second job, ever. But that means you have to become a prospector. Now, why some don't? Why some agents don't earn a bronze award once a year? Well, because maybe they don't want it. And that's fine. By the way, that's absolutely legit. I know a lot of agents who do 10, 12 deals a year, and they're happy with it. And if you're in that range, that's fine. There's nothing that you have to change. But maybe inside of you, the desire to do well, that feeling like I can do better. Well, what causes some not to do it is what I call the major obstacle of the mind. It's an iffy mindset. They don't prepare their mind. They prepare their knowledge, but not their mind. They don't have good planning. They don't plan their day properly. They lack self-discipline, and that's a big one. Self-discipline is essential to the success of real estate. And they're not consistent. When they're on, they're on. When they're off, they're completely off. And that's the challenge. This business requires consistency in order for you to create production. And it's not difficult. Just write this number. If you committed yourself to doing 2 hours of prospecting a day, deliberately, thoughtfully, well planned, with good follow-up systems, with good scripts, you will always do better. That's it. That's the game. People go, you want me to prospect all day long? No, I don't want you to prospect all day long. I want you to prospect 2 hours a day with breaks in between. I want you to have appointments. That's the goal. You want to create appointments. And I want you to engage people. And I want you to follow up. We lose a lot of business because we don't follow up enough. A lot of agents don't even have a CRM where they put the information so they can follow up. They think they can remember. They keep using their mind as storage rather than using their mind for thinking and strategy. So it's just these few things that if you implemented them well, you will do better. So let's continue. Let me give you a couple of affirmations. What is an affirmation? It's basically self-talk. It's you telling you what you're up to. And whenever I do a class or whenever I do a presentation, I like to share at least 2 of them as suggested affirmation. That doesn't mean you take them on. The best affirmations are the one you write yourself, not the one I give you. The one I give you are just kind of a way to go, I see where he's going with that. I'm going to create one of my own. Here's the first one. Helping homeowners sell their properties is the highest and best use of my valuable time. See, imagine yourself telling yourself that in the morning. What are you telling yourself? You're telling yourself prioritize local homeowners. Don't just chase buyers. Start chasing local homeowners and help them with their real estate needs. So that's one. Let me give you another one. I love canvassing in my local neighborhood and to be of value to anyone thinking of selling or buying real estate. If you look carefully, I shifted something, didn't I? Most people talk about the real estate market by saying, by buying and selling. I love to help my client buy and sell real estate. I want you to turn it around. I love helping my neighbor make better decisions about selling and or buying real estate. Because if you prioritize the selling, which is the listing side, you getting the listing and bringing it to market, you control your fate. Now you're in control of the income you're going to make. You control how good you become. Your branding will be visible. People will get to know you. That's why we create affirmation. Now, I'm not asking you to use these 2. Although if you do, if you want to, go ahead. But write something like this that you tell yourself in the morning to motivate yourself, to self-discipline yourself, to self-motivate yourself, to prioritize what is important in your business. You are capable of arranging your day and structuring it in such a way that it helps you grow. So, let me give you some numbers before I go into the local market. In the United States, we have 2.1 million licensed agents, of which 1.6 million are realtors. In the United States, we do between 5.3 and 6 million listings. That's it. That's all we do. If you take all of the listings over a year in the United States, we do between 5.3 and 6 million listings. So think about it. If we could take a full-time agent, could you agree with me a full-time agent is capable of at least 10 listings a year? If he or she worked it, let's say they worked the business properly, they had a good plan, they have a good mindset, they're working with a good team, are they capable of 10 listings a year? You're probably saying, Key, of course. 10 listings a year is less than once a month. It's very doable. You just need to have a better plan of prospecting. And I would totally agree with you. So think about it. If we took 10 listings, 600,000 agents times 10 is 6 million. Do we really need 1.6 million? No, we don't. We only need in the United States 600,000 agents. So the 600,000, we call them the go-getters, the hunters. They go out there and actually prospect to find listings. They're making calls. They're following up. They're doing pop buys. They're stopping by neighborhoods. They're doing events in the neighborhoods. They do open houses. They do events where they invite people to their listings. They do events where they engage neighbors. They do events around Easter and around summer school. They're always doing something to engage the local people who live in the marketplace. They are not just servicing the people looking to buy. They are building relationships and engaging the people who live in the local place. We call them the prospectors. We have in our industry, believe it or not, about 1 million order takers. These are agents who come to the business and they wait for someone to give them a warm body to work with. And is there money there? Yeah, some. Is that a career? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think a career is made by a mix of being a go-getter, a hunter, a prospector for listings, and working with buyers. Balancing these two forces together in the right way will keep you centered, and actually now you're in control of your faith. A lot of agents who do not control their income is because they don't control their prospecting. They're not going out there learning scripts, learning how to address FISBOs, expireds, new listing, new construction. They don't have the lingo. They have not developed it. They wing it rather than developing it. So I want you to ask yourself, who do I want to be? Do I want to be part of the 600,000 who are the go-getters, or do I want to be the average agent at NAR who does less than 5 deals a year and who's always complaining about, the market is difficult? Who do you want to be? Because there are people in this market, in your market, who are crushing it. You know why? Because they are go-getters. They are prospectors. So keep that in mind as we go along about these statistics that I'm going to be sharing with you. So I picked Jacksonville, Florida, because I was going to an event down there to visit some of our exit friends. And as I was searching to help them understand the market, and you guys know my background is mathematics, I said, why don't I take the Jacksonville market and study it and extract statistics from it, and I did what's called an extraction of 20 years. So here's what I did. I took the 7 counties that surround Jacksonville. Jacksonville is growing. I mean, it's growing immensely. You would not recognize it if you lived in it 20 years. It has changed tremendously, and it's still growing. 20 years from now, you will not recognize it. So I took what I call the counties that make up Jacksonville or surround Jacksonville, that part of it, Baker, Clay, Duval, Flagler, Nassau, Putnam, St. John's. Those are the what I call the counties that surround it. And I focus primarily on residential. I only looked at single family homes, condos, and townhouses. So when you hear me say the word homes, I mean single family homes, condos, and townhouses. So I extracted 20 years of data, and I'm going to show you the chart of those data. And the reason I did that is I wanted to stay within the residential market. Now, there's more business there. There's commercial, there's multifamily homes, there is land, there's all new construction, there's all kinds of properties in that market. I wanted to just focus on the simple stuff: single family homes, condos, townhouses, listings, and sales. Because that's really the bread and butter of most agents who are in their career doing this. So, what should you know about these statistics? Well, the first thing you need to know, this is a map of the greater Jacksonville. It is one of the fastest growing area in the United States. Second, what makes that area grow fast is how business friendly it is. And so there's a lot of businesses moving, transplanting, opening factories. But also in Jacksonville, Florida, with all those counties around it, there's still plenty of land for you if you wanted to build a big manufacturing plant. You could if you wanted to. And a lot of them have done that. Amazon has done that. GE has done that. A lot of businesses are growing, and they're looking for talent. They're looking for people who work. So there's a lot of people who want to move there. So the next 20 years, whatever we saw in the last 20 years is going to be doubled. And compared to the Northeast, the prices in Jacksonville, I'm going to call it the greater Jacksonville area, the prices there are still moderate. Even though they've gone high very quickly, which I'll show you in a minute, compared to the Northeast, they're still moderate. So therefore, if you wanted to sell your home in the Northeast and come down to live in Jacksonville, you can. And you can buy the home cash. That's why we have a lot of cash offers sometimes in that market, because prices are moderate. So now that we know what the map looks like, what should you know? I need to help you understand how to analyze a market. What does it mean to analyze a market? Well, you have to extract information. When you extract that information, you want to make sense of it, right? You want to say, what does this data mean? And then you have to deal with this thing. Do I average the information, or do I use the median home price? So you hear the word median, and median is confusing to people. See, people know how to average things. To average things is you add them up. So let's say you have 10 objects and they're worth a certain amount. You add them up and you divide by 10. Everybody understands how to do that. We call that averaging the value. So you could say the average price of gasoline in the United States, and then you take about 20, 30 gas stations, you add up all those amounts and you divide them by 10. So let's say in your area there are gas stations, you can find out what the average gas price in that area is. Here's the problem. Gasoline is the same. A gallon, a gallon, a gallon, a gallon, a gallon. Gasoline is pretty much the same, right? Whereas homes are not. The problem with real estate is some homes are standard 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage, or 1-car garage on a small lot. Others are extreme. Some of them have huge amount of acreage. Some of them have 20 bedrooms. So how can you average? So let's say there were in a particular area 2 homes sold for 1 million each and one sold for 100,000. You cannot say that the average is a million, 100, and divide by 3, because they're not the same. So mathematicians, or to be more precise, statisticians, do not use the word average. They use what's called the median calculation. The median calculation of home values or home prices is driven by this thing called the bell curve. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. The bell curve tells you the distribution of home prices and where is the concentration of that and where is the dilution of it on the side. That's what you will hear, and you've seen this a lot when you pull a report. It will tell you the median home price, and from time to time they give you the average price. By the way, any real estate market report that has average prices is not a good real estate report, unless they mean the median and they use the vernacular of average. We never average values. So if you took all of the homes that sold in Jacksonville, let's say there was 1,000 of them, you add them up and divide by 1,000 to find out what is the affordability, you would be doing it wrong. What you need to be measuring is the median home price. Now, you will see in a second that the median home price is measured statistically. It is not measured traditionally by taking the average. Let me show you the bell curve. This is the bell curve of real estate in most markets. In fact, in all markets, if you take a market large enough, the distribution of home will go like this. Now you're going, Key, is that thing that goes to the top how the highest value? No. That's the number of homes around that price that sold at this around the same price. So let's take Jacksonville. Jacksonville, the median home price right now is $334,000. So the number of homes that sell around the 300,000, let's say 200,000 to 450,000, that's the distribution. That's where most of the action is. We call that curve that goes up. It's not a curve of value. It's a curve of the number of properties around that price that sold. And as you can notice, towards the left, even though when I point like this, it goes to the right, towards the left, which is entry-level homes, you will see that that curve is lower. What does that mean? It simply means that the number of homes under 200,000 is not as high as the number of homes, not the values. We know that the values of entry-level homes are under 200,000. So this curve here measures affordability. So how do you find the median home price? It's very simple. You take a market, let's say Jacksonville, you look at all of the sales over an extended period of time. Extended period of time is something like 6 months, sometimes 3 months. If there's a lot of activity, you can look at 3 months, but it's usually 6 months. You look at 6 months worth of sales in that area that you choose. And let's say there's 1,000 homes. You take those 1,000 homes and you put them from the lowest value to the highest value. Since there's 1,000, you go to the 500th one. That's the median home price. And it happens to be where the concentration of most of the home happens. We call that the distribution of homes. Let me give you another piece of advice as you're studying and learning this mindset of what is a median price. When your clients come to you and they say, what's the average price in this neighborhood? They are not asking you for the average. Even though they're using the word average, they're asking you, where is the median home price? Where is the value in the middle of affordability? And that's what they're asking you. So whenever you pull a report on real estate, don't look at the average price. It is useless. Look at the median home price. The median home price tells you how affordable a neighborhood. So if you're doing a market report for a neighborhood, you want to look up 6 months of information. You will find that there were about, let's say, 200-300 sales. Then the system will automatically says the median home price is 310,000 or whatever the price is. That's the price of affordability around it. Some homes are higher, some homes are lower, but the majority of them will be around that 310,000. That's why even if your clients are mentioning average, what you're hearing really and educating them is median. And by the way, you don't have to correct them. When I'm talking to a client who's not in real estate, but a client who wants to buy or sell, and they're asking me, hey, what's the average homes here? I know what they meant. And I tell them, well, the median home price here is, but I don't correct them. I don't tell them, well, it's not called the average, it's called the median. Don't do that. But when it comes to an agent, I do correct them because I want them to learn what the bell curve is. And every market is made up entry-level homes. Then it goes to the median home prices. By the way, the median home prices are about 60% of the action. That's where 60% of all of the sales happen. Then there's the move-up market. Then there is the upscale market. Then there's the luxury market. Then there is the $1 million home market. And the higher you go in prices, the less and less number of homes are selling. The prices are going higher, but the number of transactions, the number of listings goes down. So let me show you an example of distribution, because sometimes we learn by example, right? So take 2021. In the greater Jacksonville area, there were 39,363 listings that sold. I'm going to call them homes, but when I say homes, I mean single-family homes, condos, and townhouses. Okay? So there were 39,363 units of single-family homes, condos, and townhouses that listed and sold. How do they distribute? Well, this is how they distribute. Under 200,000 in value, under 200,000, there were 8,457 homes. Between 200,000 and 450,000, there were 23,426 homes that listed and sold. We call that the center of the market. That's where most of the action is. We call that the middle of the bell curve. I call it the bread and butter of the market. That's where the action is. 60% of all of the sales that happened in the greater Jacksonville in 2021 happened between the 200,000 and 450,000 range. Now, as you go higher in price, so from 450 to 600, we would call that the move-up market. There were still sales. There were sales, but there were 4,214 of them that's listed and sold. If I go even higher to what we call the upscale market, which is usually between 600 and 800,000, there were 2,000. Notice there were sales, but there were less of them because we don't build as many of those, or we don't, the people who can afford them aren't that many. There aren't that many who can afford the 600 to 800,000. And then if I go higher from 800 to a million, notice we even go down. We call that the luxury market. The luxury market is about 742 properties between 800 and a million that sold. Let's go even further. So you notice how the curve is tapering? It's not tapering in value, it's tapering in the number of sales. That's why you notice this bell curve. The curve goes up to the middle. That's where the bread and butter is. That's where most of the transaction happens. Towards the low of the market, it tapers down. Towards the high of the market, it tapers down. And that makes sense. 1 million to 2 million, which we'll call the $1 million homes. There were 800 of them that sold. And over 2 million in the greater area, there were sales. There were 248 of those units. We call those the multi-million dollar homes. Homes over $2 million, there were 248. So 23,426 in the middle of the bell curve, where the curve goes high. And as you go lower, as you go further in price, the number of transactions goes down. That's why we call it the median home price. The median home price basically helps you understand affordability. of an area. So if somebody told you, what is the affordability price of Jacksonville, right now it's $334,000, which I'll show you in just a second. Now remember, I only measured single family homes, condos, and townhouses. I did not include land, multifamily homes, commercials, because they are just totally different in the market. All right. Now let's go look at the statistics. Now this is 20 years of extracted data that I worked on myself to show you and explain to you how the market is behaving. This first chart here is an interesting one. This is probably a chart you want to show your clients, especially the buyers, not the sellers, the buyers. This is the median days on market in those 7 counties surrounding Jacksonville in the last 20 years. Have you noticed it's going down? What does it mean? It simply means that we are in a fast moving market. See, a typical market, if you looked at prior to the pandemic, prior to that, if you brought in a home to market, let's say a $200,000, $300,000 home, you would put it on the MLS, and it will take about 3, 4, 5 weeks before you get a good offer, or 2, 3 offers, because buyers can look at properties and then keep looking at others, and then they can still come back and say, well, that first one we saw is the one we want. Let's make an offer. We were able to compare 3 or 4 properties. In the last 4 or 5 years, what happened is, the moment it comes on the market, there's such a high demand that within a week to 10 days, there's an offer. In fact, there's multiple offers depending on what market you're in. You know, are you in the middle of the market, what I call the middle of the bell curve, or are you in the luxury market, which are very different? They don't behave the same way. So anything that is affordable is going very quickly because there's a lot of people waiting to purchase. Now, here's the question that I want to ask you. And I want you to think about it for a second. If the days on market goes longer, so right now the days on market is 15. That purple thing simply means the first 3 months of this year. I did 20 years of data, plus the purple part is the first 3 months, January, February, March. And I marked that as purple because that year is not finished. We're still in 2022. So 2022, I only have 3 months of data on it. So if the days on market, which is right now 15, let's say it goes up to 20. Let's say it goes up to 25. Does the number of listings per year change? Now remember, last year we did 39,000 listings. So let's say the days on market goes longer. Are we going to do less listings or more listings? No effect. It has no effect at all. How fast a property turns over has nothing to do with demand. I know. You're going, wait a second. So if the days on market go longer, if the buyers start hesitating because their interest rates are going up, are you telling me that the number of listings we're going to get is not going to shrink? It's not going to shrink. There is no correlation between days on market and the number of listings, the number of listings sold in the market. That's the thing you need to remember. There is a correlation with maybe not making such a high offer, meaning that the buyer does not have to go way above the asking price. They may stick to as close to the asking price or match the asking price, but that listing will still sell. So the number of listings coming to market is not affected by the days on market. It is affected by how anxious the buyers are. So when you are educating your buyers, you got to let them know we are right now in the United States, we are at the highest number of listings. So inventory exists. It just doesn't sit on the shelf long. It goes very quickly. People who want to buy them are so anxious to buy that if something matches what they want, they act on it quickly. That's the difference. We're not in a low inventory market per se. We are in a fast moving market. It comes on, it goes. But for you, the realtor, what you need to understand, if the days on market go longer or shorter, that doesn't mean there will not be enough listings. There will be plenty of listings. There have been more listings in the last 20 years than there have been ever. So keep that in mind as you approach your business. Do not confuse the number of listings with the days on market or with prices. Prices are affected by how anxious a buyer is. And that means prices have gone up very quickly because buyers have been very anxious. But are prices going to go down this year because buyers are not as anxious? No. Prices are going to stay up because the demand for what I call home ownership in Jacksonville, in the greater Jacksonville, and in most of the country for that matter, is still high. We're not building homes fast enough. That's the challenge. But let's go back to your business. As a real estate agent, you're not affected by whether the days on market goes up or goes down. Now, this is the chart you need to look at. This is the median home price in Jacksonville. This is 20 years of valuation of the median home price. The median home price in 2011 was $128,000. Last year it was $300,000. This year, so far, in the first 3 months, it went to $334,000. I mean, that is insane. To be honest with you, a median home price in Jacksonville at $300,000, $334,000 is a lot of people who have lived there 20, 30, 40 years can't wrap their mind around it. They're like, that makes no sense. By the way, even if you bought your home at the highest level when it was in 2006, remember 2006, there was a frenzy, money was cheap, and then we had the crash. You see how the curve goes down? That's the crash. We call that the housing crash. Even if you bought your home in 2006, which was at the height of the market, if you held on to it, it's now worth $334,000. And a lot of people sold because they were worried that prices would go down to zero. They don't understand the forces of the market. So this year so far, we're 11% higher than last year. People ask me, Key, where are we going to be in terms of median home price this year? The median home price is not going to skyrocket, but it's going to continue to go up slower than the last few years. But if you look carefully, the what I call the median home price in 5 years went up by 60%. That is huge. There's nothing in the market can calculate that. It almost tripled since 2011. If you bought a home in 2011 at $130,000, you would have made $200,000 if you sold it at today's market. So, what does that mean? It simply means we're not building enough. There's a lot more people wanting to live in Jacksonville, wanting to work in Jacksonville. There's a lot of businesses wanting to build and have businesses there. But the number of people who can afford to live there is getting more and more difficult because you can't build them fast enough. So this is the median home price. The price per square foot, same idea. In 2010, the price per square foot was about $80. Right now, it is hovering at $190 a square foot. That's a measure that tells you that prices have gone up. And if you're going to build something, it's going to be more expensive in the next 10 years than it was in the last 20 years. That's a 13% increase in just like the last 3 months. So the price per square foot, and you want to show these charts to your buyer because your buyers, here's what they hope. They're hoping that the market will crash back to when it was at 2011 and everybody will be desperate to sell. Problem is, Jacksonville continues to grow. Businesses are still looking for talented people. People are still moving to Jacksonville. There is no force that is making prices go down. There's no force unless something really terrible happens. And we're not talking about those situations. For prices to go down radically like they did earlier in 2006 to 2011, you'll have to have a major shift, and we don't see it in the future. Look at the chart from 2011 to today. There's no letting up. It keeps going up and up. Now let's look at the total volume sold. If you took all of the home that sold in the last 20 years on a yearly basis, and you added the value each year of all of the value of the home sold, you know what the prices are? $14 billion. That is such a huge number. So the total volume in 2021 was $14 billion worth of real estate if you include homes, single family homes, condos, and townhomes. If you include these three and you looked at how much business was had, that was 14 billion. And just over 2020, it was about $11 billion. That's a lot of real estate. What does that mean? That means that Jacksonville now has the money to be building roads, to be building parks, to do a lot more infrastructure. And if you go to Jacksonville right now and you drive around, what do you notice? They're building bridges. They're building roads. They have to, because they need to allow people to move. What we're not doing enough in Jacksonville, although Jacksonville is better than any other place in the country, we're not building single family homes fast enough. It's just so expensive. And with the problem with logistics and deliveries of windows and doors, it takes much longer to now build those things. Now, this is what's called the dollar value that was of real estate, traditional real estate or residential real estate done. But here's the chart that matters the most. This is the number of listings. See, when people tell you there's not enough listings in the market, sorry. 2021 was the highest number of listings ever in the last 20 years at least. 2020 was the highest before that. 2019 was the highest before that. We nearly did 40,000 single family homes, condos, and townhouses in that greater area of Jacksonville in 2021. And we've already done 8,200 in the first 3 months. And usually the first 3 months are the slowest. April, May, June, July, August, September, we're going to do about, I would say, easily 15 to 20,000. The question is, there's going to be 15 to 20,000 listings. How many are you going to get? See, you can't come to me and say, Key, the market is not helping me. Yeah, probably, but you need to go out there and get it. Are you door knocking? Are you talking to people? Are you sending mailers and following with events? Are you engaging the people in the neighborhoods to find out those who are thinking about selling? Because listings will not be given to you. You have to go get them. And this is the truth. What I like about this chart, it tells you that the players are playing. They're getting listings. And if you're not getting the listings you deserve, your playbook needs to be tweaked a bit. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you as a human being. No, you're fine as a human being. But your playbook, how to get listings, how to ask for listings, the script, how to follow up with expires, how to follow up with FISBOs, how to talk, how to do farming locally, how to engage with door hangers, how to engage other people. That's the challenge. The challenge is not you intellectually, but you through your playbook. Is your playbook set up properly? That question I can't answer. You have to answer that for yourself. But you can't come to me and say, Key, the Jacksonville market is terrible. There's not enough business. I'm like, what are you talking about? 2021, the highest number of listing ever. There's more money in Jacksonville than a lot of other markets. I'll give you an example. If you live in California, and you're a realtor there, leave. Come to Jacksonville, because that's where the action is. You guys have one of the best markets in the country. But the market being good or bad has nothing to do with you earning a living in it. You have to have a better playbook. You got to have a better plan for yourself. You have to have a better way of approaching this market and studying it. These are not my numbers. These are straight from your MLS. So let's continue looking at these numbers. This is the divergence. This is the chart that tells you the truth about the go-getters and the order takers. This is a chart of the number. This is a national chart. This is not a local Jacksonville chart. This is a national chart. This is a chart of all of the agents at NAR. So if you look carefully, in 2009, we had 1.1 million. Then we dropped to 1 million in 2012. And from there, we kept growing. We're now at 1.6 million. See that slope right here? This is the slope of growth of number of agents. This is how many agents each year we're adding. We're adding about, I would say, close to 100, 200, 300,000 a year. But a lot of them leave and then they're replaced by other people. But notice this slope is going up. Now look at the teal area or the cyan area, this area here that you see down here. That area is the number of agents who are go-getters who get 10 listings a year. See how that chart goes up, but it's steady. It's not slopey like this. It's more steady like that. So there's a lot more agents coming in wanting to be order takers, wanting to work internet leads, Zillow leads, OpCity. They want to work the buyers. They don't realize that business is saturated. There are way too many. Let me explain what saturated. For every one good agent, there's 3 to 5 who are competing with buyers. So in other words, 20% of the agents are controlling 80% of the listings, and therefore they control their fate. The other 20% is being fought by the other 80% of agents who do not have a good game plan. They don't have a strategy for running their business. So in our industry, we do not need more agents. We need good prospecting agents. We do not need more agents. Let me say it in a different way, and that could be shocking to some of you. Hopefully it isn't, but it is the truth. If we lost today, if 1 million agents today quit the business, nothing will change. There will not be any news. No one will talk about it. Nothing will change. If 1 million agents in the United States decided to pack it in and go home, the consumers will not be hurt. Nothing will change. In fact, I argue that extra million who are order takers who complain about the market are actually hurting the workers of our business, the go-getters, the ones who are really prepared. When they have a listing presentation, they prepare for it, they do their work, they know how to engage, they know how to talk to homeowners, they know how to do their marketing. They're like really the players of this game. I say that surplus of agents who are order takers, or I call the people who do real estate on the side just because they could get a deal here, a deal there, hoping to make money, hurt our business more because they're not diligent. They don't follow up. They make stuff up. Their paperwork is shoddy. They're not focused. They don't communicate. They don't show up to sales meeting. They don't listen to their brokers. They're a liability in my book. So, do we need more agents? No. Do we need good prospecting agents? Yes. Now, some of you are going, but Key, I'm a new agent, but I want to become a go-getter. Can I become a go-getter? Absolutely. First of all, make sure you go work for the right company. That's number one. Number two, be coachable. Let your broker and the team around you, when they bring trainers and stuff, and they are coaching you, be coachable. Do the work. Show up. Surround yourself with people with positive mindset. Surround yourself with people who want to help other people. Don't be just a guy who shows up or complains about the market. Show up and be the solution in the market. But yes, I've seen many new agents. It's a few, by the way. It's just a few. But I've seen many agents who come to the market and within a year are within the top 20% of the market. Yes, it is doable. But that means training, coaching, mindset, right company. Don't think that a company that has 1,000 agents is doing well. The number of agents doesn't mean anything. You know what you should measure? Measure the number of listings. So this divergence is continuing to happen. Ask yourself, where do you want to be? Do you want to be with that teal cyan line that is growing steadily with the go-getters who do 10 listings a year? Or do you want to be part of the blue line where you're part of everybody and you're just an order taker? Who are you going to be? That is really up to you. So let me give you another way of looking at it. In Jacksonville, in 2022, there will be about 40,000 appointments with sellers. I'm not talking about buyers, I'm talking about sellers. In 2022, there will be 40,000 appointments with sellers. That's 800 appointments a week. So ask yourself, how many of those are you going to do yourself? See, if every exit agent in that area that I showed you in Jacksonville, if every exit agent did 5 listings a year, we will double the exit inventory. Notice, I only said 5. 5 listings a year. Is a full-time agent capable of 5 listings a year? Please say yes. If you say no, why are you doing this business? You shouldn't be doing it. Yes, it is very doable. It's actually that bar is for new agent. I always tell new agent, your first year, you need to go for 5 listings. So if every exit agent in that market that I just showed you, the greater Jacksonville, did 5 listings each, we will double the exit listing inventory. And here's what's interesting. We will triple the income. You're going, Keith, that doesn't make sense. If I double the listing, I double the income. No. When you get more listings, you get more deals under them because a listing can become 2, 3, 4, 5 deals by itself. So when you double your listings, you triple your income. Whereas when you double your buyers, you do not triple your income. You barely double it. And sometimes some of them will let you hanging, those buyers. Look at it another way. If we took all of the exit agents in that marketplace of Jacksonville, the greater Jacksonville area, and let's say half of them did 10 listings, all right? Half of them did 10 listings, and the other half did 3 listings a year. Remember, I'm talking about a year. 10 listings a year for half of them, and the other half did 3 listings. If that happened, we will triple the listings of our exit offices. And you know what that also means? That means we will more than quadruple, almost quintuple the value, and we would add 100 exit agents that year in that market. You're going, wait a second, Key. You're telling me there's a correlation between listings and agents joining the company? Yes, there is. See, when you become good at asking for business, especially listings, you become good at building your confidence. You get to be known. So when you talk about your career, people listen. If you do more than 10 listings a year, now you're a player. You're not just an order taker. You're not sitting on the sideline. When you go to talk to another agent about what does it mean to succeed, you can say, well, look at what I've done. I took training. I work with a great company, and this is what I've learned, and this is why I succeed. If you want to join us, I want you to play the same game we play. So there is a direct correlation between the number of listing an agent gets and the number of people they sponsor. So guess what? It's a win-win. Is it hard to learn to do what's called getting listings, to learn to prospect? No, it's not hard. You know what's hard to do is doing it consistently. And by the way, it's not hard to do it consistently. It's that most agents don't do it consistently. That's the thing. You do it consistently, you will always do well. By the way, let me put it another way. If we took those numbers, half of the agents did 10 listings, the other half did 3 listings, that's only 6% of the total number of listings available. There's still plenty of listings still available. So it's not like if half of our agents did 10 listings each and the other half did 3, we'll run out of listings. We'll be doing more of the listing. No, only 6%. Here's my question. Are we capable of mustering 6% of the market? Now, I'm going to tell you what I would like. I would like our agents to be at least 10% of the market. Now, is it easy? No, 10% is a tough number to reach. Is it doable? Absolutely. But you have to prioritize the right things. You have to tell yourself from the get-go when you join a real estate company, especially Exit, that we are bringing on go-getters, not order takers, people who actually go out there and get listings. They know how to ask for the business. They are not just waiting for the business. They're not waiting for the phone to ring. They make the phone ring. That's the mindset. So is it doable? Absolutely. I've seen it. I've seen agents do it. Let me give it you another way to look at it, these numbers. This year, there will be $860 million worth of commissions available in that area I showed you of Jacksonville. I call it the greater Jacksonville. $860 million worth of commission. Let me put it another way. If every exit agent in that area made 100,000, right? Every one of them made a minimum of 100,000. It will only be 4.6% of the total value available. There's plenty of money. You can't say there isn't money. There's plenty of money. The question is, are you getting the listing to help you do that? I want us to be 8% of the value. I think we're capable of it. I think if we took trainers and brokers and agents and we focused on prioritizing listings as much as we prioritize buyer, we will do much better. And I also believe another thing. There's a quarter of our own agents who are ready to earn more than $250,000 a year. Right now, they are ready for it. So, by the way, some of them are already doing it. But I think there's a quarter of our agents. So, are we going to play that game? I think we should. Because every time one bright star who earns more than $250,000, who does 15, 20 listings a year, just listing, forget the buyers, they do that. Those people are the leaders. They are the one who bring the bacon. They're the one who actually sponsor more easily. They tend to form communities and teams. They tend to do really, really well. And I think some of you, after 2-3 years of being in this business full time, you could set yourself a goal of achieving that. But the problem is you cannot achieve it with just buyers. If you try to earn close to $100,000 with just buyers, within the first 6 to 7 months of the year, you burn out. You're cooked. It's exhausting to work with buyers because they have nothing at stake. They can drag you left and right and up and down and then leave you, and you have nothing to show for it. After you work so hard for them, you have nothing to show for it. Balance your business with a little bit more listings. Schedule 2 hours of prospecting a day. I want you to remember this. Every time you double your listings, you triple your income. That's where the magic is. I didn't say every time you double your business. I said every time you double your listings, you triple your income. New agents in the industry must strive to do 5 listings in the first year. We should be teaching our agents who are brand new how to run their business properly to do 5 minimum listing that first year. Because once Once they get that 5 listings and they can start seeing themselves as full time, they can start doing like 10 to 15 deals. They feel more at ease, more confident to go higher. Established agents should commit themselves, if they choose it, of course, to 10 listings a year from people they don't know. And you're saying, wait a second. What do you mean people they don't know? Yes. See, the longer you are in this business, the more people get to know you. So you get business by referral, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to have that muscle, if you want the muscle of listings always worked out, if you want to work that muscle and really be good at it, even if you're established, you got to find 10 new people you don't know or you have no connection with. We call that prospecting, and convince them to list with you if they're thinking about selling. If you continue to do that year in and year out, you will always be not only at the top, but you will always sharpen the saw. You will always be good at asking for business. You will always be good at bringing people on. And you will always have plenty of business to feed to your team and to the people around you. And remember this, listings are not given, they are taken. This is why prospecting 2 hours a day is a must. And I must tell you some news that some of you may not like to hear. Real estate happens with or without you. You have to go in that ocean of real estate and you got to grab the fish you deserve. Whether it's 10 listings, 5 listings, 20 listings. You cannot sit on the shore waiting for somebody to feel sorry for you and give you a listing. You got to go into the water and learn to fish. You got to go and get it. No one will give it to you. But I just told you there is plenty of business. There's going to be about 40,000 listings this year. Just get yours. Create a plan, create a mindset, and go for it. Stop waiting for things to happen. Make things happen yourself. Now, at this stage, those of you who would be interested in a full-day prospecting training workshop in Jacksonville from 9 to 4, I have this form here. You can scan it or you can go to the URL and show your interest. I'm planning to do about 2 or 3 of them this year. If you are already in my interest list, that means you'll be notified first that I'm coming in to do a workshop. My workshop usually are either on Thursdays or Fridays. I only direct myself towards full-time agents or agents who want to become full-time. So you're either a full-time agent in real estate or desires to become full-time. You have to be with Exit to participate in my workshops. They are intensive workshops. You can tell. Some of you know me already. But it's about designing a playbook. It's about designing the right mindset and the right playbook to ask for business in a consistent manner to get listings. So if you're interested, scan this, fill out that form. You're not registering when you fill out this form. You're just showing me your level of interest. By the way, it looks something like this. This is what the page looks like, just so you know. So this is the page. It has, would you be interested in attending a training? There's no payment. This is just gauging interest from people who would like to participate in a workshop. Let me end right now with this idea. You do not control the outcome of your appointments with your clients. You do not control that. But here's what you control. You absolutely control your attitude, your preparation, your value proposition, and your ability to ask for business. Learn to ask for business. Hopefully the statistics I showed you help you kind of think about the market. Hopefully, if you're watching me still to this moment, that means you're understanding that prospecting is important to you. I hope to see you in one of my classes in the future. Take care, my friend, and best of luck.